Okay, welcome everyone. This is SIG and it's Monday, 19th October. My name is Adnan Abdul Hussain and I'll be leading us through this meeting today. I'll share the link to the agenda in the chat so people can follow along. So the first thing on the agenda today, just a heads up that 1.20 Alpha 3 is scheduled for release tomorrow. And then following that, Kubernetes 1.20 is on track to be released on Tuesday, December 8th. The other announcement here is that GCR will eventually be going away. It's going to be replaced by this new service from Google called Artifact Registry. I don't know that this affects SIG too much, but there's an issue here in case you're interested, tracking the move from GCR to Artifact Registry for Kubernetes. So feel free to check that out if you're interested. Cool. Those are all our announcements. Going into discussion, so one thing that we've added here is that starting in 1.20, beta APIs only have 3 releases, which is 9 months to graduate or increment beta APIs. In SIG apps, we have 2 APIs that are still in beta, cronjobs and PDBs, which I believe cronjob we're on plan to move from beta and PDB. There's some caps open here for moving them to GA as well.
If I understand it right, cron job, we're going to have to increment the API one more time, we think, and PDB will get it GA before we have to do that. Is that right?
No, we will be able to go with cron jobs without bumping the API.
Okay.
We are targeting 1.20 for the alpha controller, and with 1.21, when the controller will be promoted to beta, which basically means it'll be the default controller with a fallback to the old one if you desire. At that point, we will be promoting cronjob API to GA. This will allow us not to introduce that additional step of API. For PDB, because I was also talking with Morten and Wojtek and a couple other folks, it looks like the API will not require additional changes, and we will be able to promote it within the next release or 2. So we're targeting for 1.21 to do the initial work that will be required to promote the API. So both should be on track.
Awesome, thanks, Macho.
So the only thing that's not clear to me, you can go for cron job based on the current status and the plan moving forward is super clear. For PDB, I think we might need to update the cap to indicate I don't even know if it's a cap at this point. I think it's actually just a status item. We just probably need to update it to communicate a little better that the plan is to take it to GA with the current API and then resolve any other issues or features that we want after the fact, because we have a confidence that the API won't change by adopting anything else we want to do later.
So given that we started the discussion about PDBs a little bit too late for the feature freeze, the cap will be updated. It will be written or updated within the 1.20 release, and it will make sure that it lands for 1.21. Although some of the bug fixes that we have that are currently outstanding, some of them we are hoping to address within 120, and the remaining ones we will be addressing in 121, most probably with the API promotion.
Right.
So to be decided.
I mean, agreed. I think everyone's on the same page. It's just we should write it down to communicate it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's perfectly clear. We just missed the deadline.
Okay.
I was focused on the cron job, and the deadline was so clear that before I realized I ran out of time.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, it was too close to get both at the same time. But yeah, I'm in sync with Morten, and we'll make sure to get it updated and in a form of a cap. So that's for sure.
I already started looking at updating the cap for the PDB because the existing cap doesn't follow the new format. So I hope to get that done soon, and then I'll send it out for review.
Sounds good. Any other thoughts on cron job or PDB before we move on? Sounds good. Then we can move on to a bug triage. Did someone want to lead us through this?
I'm not sure who put it there, but I'm willing to share the screen and we can go.
That'd be great.
Cool. I think you need to add me as a co-host.
Oh, yeah, let me do that. There we go. You should be able to do it now.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Awesome. Okay. Let's start with this one. So I suppose we can go through the issues first, unless someone objects. I don't think we can use the new needs triage thing yet because it started being added only to new issues, so we would skip the old ones unless we want to make a clear cut and start over. I think we should go once more through the issues without assignees, and maybe we can migrate to needs triage later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, so determine statement mistakes in Statefulset control. Well, I can probably look into that one.
I could take it.
Yeah, you can take it as well. This looks like something like the Statefulset, I think.
Yeah.
I have that. I have a fix that I'm testing in the other branch, but I haven't looked in a few weeks. But
All right,
yeah, you can certainly look as well. But
okay, go for it.
And I suppose we should clear the needs triage as well, right? That will hopefully make it go away. Yeah, cool.
Nice.
First time. Accessing the field first unhealthy put name may lead to a null pointer. Interesting. Statefulset again. Ken, you want it this time?
May lead to no pointer.
I was expecting someone to post a traceback for something like that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, let me take. I'll take a look.
Thank you.
Looks like it's a question too.
That's an interesting issue. Like you either think it's wrong or not.
Maybe the answer is just no. So let's take a look.
Huh? Could be easy. Right, what's next? Max search. Max search not accounting for terminating pods in rolling updates.
Whoa. So maximum available at 25%. So it puts 3 pods in terminating. And the max surge is 25%. Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Probably needs a bit of time to think about it. Anyone wants a deployment? Or I can look as well if nobody wants it.
Janet could probably take a look.
Okay. Is she here or is it just a present for her?
I mean, if she doesn't want to get back to me, I'll talk to her offline. She's in Taiwan.
Right.
In Asia, she's in the APAC time zone, so it's just kind of hard for her to be here.
Oh, I wasn't aware. I thought she was in the US still. Okay, let's move on. Eric the Demon said put stuck on rolling update. Well, there is the backup in Demon set, right? Which, if you start fighting with the node, there's a backup and a delay. Maybe that's related.
What I think.
Or does he mean it like it takes a lot of time to get available?
He might even just mean it takes a lot of time for the update to complete, right? Like basically he's saying the update is wedged because the daemon set can't schedule onto a node because of disk pressure. That's how I'm reading it. Could be wrong. It's not super clear.
It isn't, yeah.
You can give it to me. We can triage it. I can ask him for clarification. This might be works as intended.
Yeah, might be. There isn't enough info, so okay. So what's next? Number of jeopardize is different for a start policy on failure and never.
Send it my way. I'll have a look after the call.
Yeah, looks like your area.
Yeah, I think there are a couple issues and there are some PRs already open, so might be related.
Demon set controller again. Failed to create new pod. Looks like it didn't react to an event, I suppose.
Seems like it missed the add event. Like basically he had to add the taint and remove it again to get the controller and notice the taint was missing. Could be, I don't know. Like that's gonna take a reproduce attempt at for sure.
Yeah, I can have a look, I suppose, unless someone wants it. Going once. Okay.
Ultimate.
Okay, what do we have next? Jobs again. Job resource should support recreating pods that hang or fail to be scheduled properly. Maciej, you want it?
Yeah, send it my way. I need to have a look at the error actually. A lot of people think that if pods are stuck, they are considered failed, which is not true. And that is
Yeah.
causing a lot of issues. I'll have a look.
Thanks. Multi-container pod status remain running if there is one of container statue in error crash loopback of status. Oh. Not sure what that means.
I think that's more,
That's like QBlood, right?
or rather 6CLI, because 6CLI is responsible for how we print information about pods. I can't remember the exact code currently off the top of my head, but maybe there's a bug in how we decide when the pod is running and when not in multi-container pods. Send it my way and tag it as 6CLI as well.
Sounds good. Do you want to trash it in 6CLI or should I just directly send it to you?
No, you can mark it as triaged, accepted. I'll be fine.
Okay, I will save you attack.
Yeah, my fingers will be very grateful to you.
Yeah, I really wish like this triage accepted thing, like if you actually assign someone to work on the issue, like it sounds like triage to me.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Oh, current jobs again. How to link created pod in current job YAML file. Sounds like a question.
Send it my way. It's probably only explaining the fact of having properly set owner references or something like that. Although we don't set that information in a pod created by a job, created from a cron job. So I'll explain how it works.
Thank you, Maciej. Jobs again. Your favorite. Job status failed. Updated inconsistently. Created a job with a non-existent image. After the deadline, conditions updated with a failed entry. However, status isn't set to on. You want it again, Maciej, or someone else wants to look into cron jobs?
Fine, send it my way. I think I recently approved a PR, which was fixing those, or I was looking at a PR and there's some minor stuff that need to be fixed, but I'm pretty sure that somebody fixed the.
Well, if it's fixed, the easier.
Yeah.
Replica set is not considered image tag for existing matched label spots. Does it look like CLI again? Or an actual bug?
This is wrong. So
Yeah, I'm not clear what's wrong there, but if someone else got it.
I can't tell. I don't know. Well, can you go back up for a second?
Oh, sorry.
I don't see. So it seems like right. Okay. It's I can't tell if this is the API machinery or the CLI, but it just doesn't look like it's the controller.
Isn't that the problem that he created a pod and he's reusing the pod's label within the replica set, and he's thinking that the replica set will honor the pod, but I think by default replica set is using auto-generated. I think the majority of the controllers currently use the auto-generated label selectors.
It is matching the same label as his pod, so the pod would get adopted, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there would only be two.
And we would only create a new one.
Yeah, so
and I don't think he sees that, if that's what he means.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, so it's more of a misconfiguration rather than a bug in the CLI or controller or anything else.
Yeah.
Because the controller properly reacts, creating only one pod.
And that's working as expected.
Yeah. Send it my way. I'll have a look and I'll leave a comment explaining what's the problem there.
Thanks.
I think you misspelled assign there, by the way.
Sorry, what did I miss?
You misspelled assign when assigning.
Yeah, I'll get a ping.
Oh,
I'll get a ping.
That's true.
I'll get a ping and I'll get to that issue. So no worries.
Wonder if it reacts to updates.
Probably not.
I think I tried and it does not.
Okay, I will just write it again. So it goes out of our board. Okay, Statefulset status is not correct in certain situations. Well, that's generic. Validation webhook, like that's not a standard thing. Could be pretty customer dependent.
So the new pod revision created at once, but for some reason the deletion request of the whole revision pod is refused by validating webhook for a long time. What's the I don't.
Well, which validating webhook? Like we don't ship any.
Yeah. So you can assign it to me. I'll ask him. Like,
Okay.
like, what did you put on? What's in your cluster?
Yeah. Like admission can break anything, right?
Yeah, if it's custom, because like I'm like, what validating webhook?
Yeah.
And it's a deletion request that's. How do you have a deletion request refused by a validating webhook?
That's weird, for sure.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Because delete invokes initially an update. No, we don't.
Mm-mm.
No, we delete.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you can reject it. All right. I haven't really done that much of admission webhooks. Well, let's see what he responds to when you ask him about the details.
The only thing a delete should create or delete soft deletes for a pod. It sets the termination timestamp, right? So like it is a. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Standardized way for infra components to reach API server. The title doesn't look like us, really, but let's see.
What? Why is this? Okay. Mm.
Oh, is that localhost?
I mean, I don't see why this is a issue. Like we do sort of have a standard way to do this, right? Like if I'm going to build a custom controller, for instance, and I use Kubi Builder or I use Operator Kit or any of those things, it basically demonstrates the exact workflow for configuring a pod to have the correct RBAC and service accounts to perform any request you want against the API machinery and inject it directly to your cluster, right? Like if, I mean.
So let me ask this. You're sitting there in a pod and kube proxy goes down and you're some kind of automation running in the cluster. How is it you're going to get the underlying details?
I mean, like it's what I'm wondering is if the guy is asking for network coordinates, if he's like, I want a way to standardize the injection of network coordinates for the API server directly into a pod so I can consume it as an environment variable. And then like I'll figure out all of the rest of the things that I need to talk to the API server, I guess.
But we
I
already
think that might
inject
be
that
what he's
kind of
asking for.
information.
We do, right? So like I don't understand.
Is it documented somewhere where we inject it into a pod and you can get it?
Probably so. There's a bunch of environment variables that we are injecting on for every pod that's being run in a cluster, and that includes the namespace you're running in, the cluster API.
Right. So that's a, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was gonna say we already inject the coordinates. That's a thing you can get in Kubi Builder and Operator Kit. they build their infrastructure out, they leverage that. The harder part is setting up the RBAC to be able to talk to the API machinery and setting up the service account and service tokens to allow your pod to be able to actually communicate with the API machinery and have the correct credentials to be able to perform the operations with that you want to do. And there's already a lot of automation for building that out on 2 different projects that are leveraging the same infrastructure, that being controller runtime and controller tools under the hood. So like, it seems sort of solved. Maybe it just needs information.
That might be my guess, because a lot of what happens in Kubernetes, folks who get in these calls and things like that know, and he may just not. And a lot of this may not have intuitive documentation, and it may just be pointing him out saying, hey, does this work? You know, here's how you can get to it, and point him to something that may just solve his problem.
Maybe. But
I wonder if this is about something different. Like he mentions bootstrapping and being the thing that provides networking, which also means you can't use the service network that runs in the cluster. So the information kubelet injects is for the service network, and it assumes kubelet is running, kubeproxy is running, SDN is running, and that, I think he wants to go around it, but the way to do it is usually...
He wants the lower level details, not the Kubernetes network, but the underlying network.
Yeah, but unless you are on the same
the
host,
things anyway.
yeah, but you can't do that. It doesn't work. Like,
yeah,
assumptions about, we try specifically as a rule not to make assumptions about the underlying network, right? Like there are very many different underlying software-defined network configurations that you can use to work. So we can't, like, the API machinery doesn't know. Like you have to kind of configure that and then run your cluster.
Yeah.
and
if
you have
it was an issue, it's not. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go first, man.
Oh, I was just going to say, and even if you want something like this exposed, it's not a SIG apps problem. It would be a SIG network issue. And then they can reject exposing that information because of those issues too. But it sounds like he wants access to SIG network things, related things, not so much at the application workload level. Or maybe it's across, but it sounds like it's he wants those lower level details and we're not going to give it to him, which makes sense.
I mean, basically, he's touching the deployment strategy that he is using for his own deployment of the entire cluster. And that will vary from provider to provider, from one user building their own cluster to a different user. And both data you're going to inject and how you're going to inject or consume those will differ. So I think there's a reason that we stayed away from this.
Well, I think,
And it may not only be possible to inject it. Like he wants this data for kubelet, but kubelet is the one injecting anything into pods, right? So you come back to only using localhost or a load balancer, but I don't see really how we could do it. And I agree with Matt that SIG apps is probably not the SIG to tackle this.
all right, send them the network then.
It's already there. They just didn't remove SIG apps, so I suppose we just drop it and move on, right?
Sounds good.
Right. What's next? Cron jobs. Cron job spec job templates spec completions not working in Kubernetes.
Well, that's surprising. That's the most basic feature. Although something tells me there's nitty-gritty details about how completions work when you don't specify them in combination with parallelism. Eric documented that actually pretty well. Send it my way. I'll have a look and I'll eventually point him to the docs or try to figure out what's wrong there.
Thanks. There seems to be some conversations already.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that he just doesn't know that there's an option to say completions and that it will run indefinitely until you say it to stop.
Okay, thanks. Job figure. Maciej, you are lucky today. Kubernetes 1.16.7 number of cron job exceeded 20k and do not execute. Sounds like the common issue with scaling and cron jobs.
And probably a misconfiguration, as in I put a wrong image spec, pull spec, and then cron job will bluntly create a 20 plus jobs, which all will be stuck.
20,000.
Yeah, whatever. You can create, you can literally DDoS the cluster with cron jobs still.
Yeah.
But the new controller is pretty slick.
Well, that's good. You want it?
And yeah, of course. I think I won a lottery ticket today.
Yeah. Well, we skipped a meeting last time, right? So it piled up.
Yeah, probably so.
Again, current jobs. Current job completed, pods do not. Current job completed, pods not deleted, job deleted. Well, it's not a descriptive title.
I think he means by that the job spot get not deleted, even though the job got deleted. There are two layers of ownership, and he claims that the middle one got deleted, and somehow pods got stuck. I'll have a look. I need to know the exact details, what happened there. There are multiple options. Either GC could get stuck or failed, or it's waiting for something, or but by default it should not happen.
Okay, it's yours.
Who owns the garbage collection?
The garbage collection can be stuck because you put a third-party finalizer on a pod for whatever reason, which basically means that the garbage collection will not remove that particular pod until all the finalizers will be removed. This is to ensure that if you need to perform any manual cleaning, that the pod will not be removed, or basically any resource will not be removed until all the finalizers are cleared.
So you think they might just have a finalizer that they're not aware of on the
It might be possible. There are multiple options. I would need to see the pod spec. I'll read through it carefully and see what it might be causing this particular case.
Sounds good.
All right. Next one's our daemon set rolling update taking longer. I've just paired it, and it looks like he wants to pre-download the image before terminating the daemon set, which we won't do, right? Because you would have to create a pod actually, and you can't just stop it before it starts. But Clayton had a proposal for daemon sets to make the search, so unless everyone
Didn't that kept get accepted?
I hope it did. Maciej, you checked it.
Yeah, it got merged.
Yeah, we accepted that.
Yeah, that got merged. Yeah,
I think
so
it
that will
would
be
take,
something like, yeah, he'll be working on that one in 120.
So I will just find the link and explain it to him, unless someone else wants it.
I can do it.
You know what? Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead, Ken.
Or you can do it, Matt. I took a
It was
couple.
already.
I was gonna volunteer to take this one. Easy enough. I know where they are.
It looks like it was already explained there, so I'm just not really sure why it's open.
We could probably either let it be garbage collected by going stale or close it if it's already been explained.
Okay, I'm gonna be bold and just close it in favor of the proposal.
Okay.
He says he is looking forward to it,
Yeah.
so
There you go.
all right. Feature request. Is it possible to let deployment support partition like Statefulset?
Nope.
It isn't, but
No, it's not.
Statefulset had it, and I think we talked about it at some point, but I don't think there was anybody with resources to actually go for it, right?
I mean, but it wouldn't be a partition, right? Like, you can partition Statefulset because you can think of them as like an ordered sequential set of things. So deployment's not like that. It's groups of fungible replicas, right? That are statistically likely to have a certain number of replicas depending upon like what you set your surge and your min available to during an update.
Yeah, I think the point of partition with a deployment is to actually stop in the middle of a rollout, so you have kind of a canary. So you can just roll out a certain number of pods, see what happens, and then you can just continue.
Yeah, I mean, so that's like a pause. So we could, yeah. I feel like there if you really want to do canary analysis nowadays, there are better ways to do it. It kind of depends on what your cluster looks like. Like if I was using Istio, I would do canaries one way. If I was not using Istio and I was trying to do capacity based, like just set up one deployment with, let's say, 10% of my capacity and one with 90, I would do it a different way. But there are different ways to do a canary. So pause to me is more like, I want to stop it in the middle because I don't like the way it's looking, but I don't want to roll it back. The short answer though is no. They're asking if they want to prepare a PR. I would point them to, you can assign it to me. I would say, please submit a cap. Like if they got something that looks good, I wouldn't say like we shouldn't take it. I'm just saying like before you go and implement it, it's not like a quick patch. Like it's an API change at a minimum and probably very complicated. So I'd want to see a cap for it.
Certainly, I agree. We should move the feature request to cap and just talk about it there. I will send it to you, and you can explain them the process if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, jobs are here again. Jobs allow user to specify big of delay. Well, I don't think we do any features for jobs until we are done with the current job thing, right, Maciej?
Yeah, just send it my way. I'll have a look. If it's a feature, I'll reply that sure, but you have to work it out from scratch.
Yeah. Process env, then allow env to replace existing values, and env don't have to guarantee the order. Like he wants downward API to inject into an envar in another envar. Well, this is SIG node, right? Oh.
I mean, oh, okay. I'm actually, does that not work?
Is it the order?
Yeah, I mean, that might actually work, right? Like, as long as the environment is populated appropriately, it might reify. Or,
Yeah.
Well, I think what he's saying though is that order isn't guaranteed. He said that, and so the environment variables are not set in a guaranteed order. Is that what he's saying? And so, in here, what you're going to end up with is probably the YAML parser and how it parses it into objects, and then those objects are iterated over.
Really? I would hope the order is kept.
yeah, it's
I
still,
would hope it's deterministic too. Yeah.
as far as I know, like if you set your M in a particular way, like when you print your M, you're going to get it in the order that you specified it up there. That could have changed it, but it is fundamentally, like you said, SIG node. It's not SIG Max. There's not much we can do. The implementation here is going to be kubelet.
Yeah, it's in the kubelet
Yeah.
code. He actually linked it.
Yeah.
So
So we can take SIG apps off of it. You know, it's funny. I think the YAML parsing and ordering thing came up somewhere else recently, and I want to remember where in a YAML conversation. I don't know. It may have been nothing, but I'm gonna actually go poke at that because this is the second time it's come up in like 2 weeks.
The YAML conversation was recently brought up when we were trying to bump YAML version for Cobra. There was an issue with line lengths and
This is something
V3
different.
of-
Yeah,
That's
this is
the
something
only
different.
one.
By the way, Cobra 1.1.1 was just came out that reverted the line length issue.
I'm gonna talk with Eddie to fix it beyond. Thanks.
Yeah, but 1.1. And I think it came out over the weekend. So
okay, next one. Roll history change. Cause not right. That looks weird. I suppose someone should try it. Right.
What version? Oh, it's 118.
Matthias said he can reproduce it on 1.18.4, and it was reported in 1.16. I suppose we should look into it.
Yeah.
If someone wants it.
It's deployment. We only gave one to Janet so far, right?
Okay.
You can assign me and Janet. One of us will take it. I don't want to
Cool.
assign for anything, but I'll load balance and see what she.
Statefulset doesn't update the plot image.
Huh.
Wonder if that's the bug with image pullback off, I suppose. There is a case where if you actually specify an invalid image to a Statefulset and that starts rolling out, you can't go back because Statefulset actually waits for unavailable plots first.
I see.
I was already working on a fix, so
Okay, you take it.
I will take it, and there is probably a dupe. How to get the command out of interaction between user and pod after kubectl exec.
It's being streamed, I think. If I remember correctly, we are using Speedy protocol. If this is for auditing, it's not possible. I've had
Okay.
several requests about it. Send it my way. I'll
I will send it your way, and you can explain the details there if you don't mind. Should I also mark it as 6 CLI only, I suppose?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Right. Zero disruption PDB with custom controller emits confusing status error. What's custom controller there? Wonder. Do you need to implement scale suppressors for PDBs to work with you? I'm actually not sure. I know we do some hacks for our resources in OpenShift, but I haven't actually looked. Is Morten here? I don't see him in the agenda.
Drop off.
I think he's dropped, yeah.
You can assign him though.
Yeah. He's likely to know it.
So we implemented. Originally, it didn't respect the scale sub resource at all, and then like maybe a year and a half ago, we implemented support for the scale sub. But I believe that inside of the code, even if you don't have a scale sub resource, it still can work based on label selection.
Okay.
So, you should do that.
So we can probably pause here unless
Yeah.
continue. Yeah. Or do I need to drop?
Yeah, sure. Thank you all for helping with the triage.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
And thanks for running it.
Thanks.
Cool. Yeah, that's all we had on the agenda, and we're out for time. So unless anyone has anything that they'd really like to discuss, we can meet in 2 weeks.
That's good.
Cool.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks. Bye.